to the cloud. Hello, hello, hello. Da, 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 da. Hi, Dina. Great to see you. Marvelous. I've got Thomas and Rita. I've got HVO. I love it. Hi, Romy. Hi, Timothy. Hey, Riley. What's up? What's up? Hi, John. Great to see you. Hi, Nicole on her iPad. Thomas, how's it going over there? I'm admitting my friends into the space. Wow, what a time it is in the world today. Yes, Joe is here. Hi, everybody. Welcome. So great to see everyone on this fine Thursday in the month of September. Wild. Hey, Tony. Tony is, it's like he's, in Utah maybe, or Colorado. Is that Utah? It's Utah. I think so.
Yes, exactly.
I think
Capitol Reef National Park.
I've totally been to Capitol Reef. I had a great time. I thought I sprained my ankle and I was alone, but I was okay.
And great homemade pies at the visitor center.
There sure were. That visitor center was off the chain.
Yes, it was.
Hi, everyone. Okay, we're at 102. I'm going to start my little spiel. My friends, welcome to Edge Studios session 13 of Ask Me Anything, which means I don't know how many weeks that means. 23 weeks, I think, of shelter in place in New York, at least, and us trying to keep everybody safe while we try to keep the world of voiceover a happy and loving place. My name is Siobhan. I am your host for this hour of conversation and community here with Edge. To my Zoom left, I don't know where he is on your screen, is our Chief Edge Officer, David Goldberg. David, what's going on? How are you?
It's good to be back another 2 weeks. Happy to have another Ask Me Anything session. All is well. How is everyone out there? Thumbs up, thumbs down, everyone. How are you guys?
Hands if we're getting by. We're doing our.
I don't see any hands down. I see some no hands, which is a little concerning. Let's try that again. How is everyone? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Nice.
Oh, Joe's giving me mid twinkles. I see you, Joe. I see how you're doing. Okay. Wonderful. So the way that we do this, if this is your first time, we've got a little bit of a smaller Zoom room today, which is actually good. It might mean we can do more things, answer more questions. So if this is your first time, welcome, welcome. If you are returning to us, we are so grateful for you returning and validating our experience by wanting to be with us again. The way we're going to do this, it's just me and David today. We are going to answer any and every question that we have time for, succinctly as we possibly can, regarding voiceover, right? So that's where we draw the line of conversation here today. But you will pop your questions in the chat. Oh, tell me in the chat, by the way, where you're from and what's going on, where you're tuning in from. I know we are all over the place. Let's become friends. I'm here in Brooklyn today. My name is Siobhan, and I'm so happy to be here with you all. Yes, we got New Jersey and Boston. We love to see it. So great. New Jersey, Virginia, Washington Heights. Hey, Marianne, nice to have you. Great to see you again. Yeah, cool. Atlanta and LA. All right. Thanks for joining us in what is still the AM in Los Angeles, Tony, as well as LV. Okay. Oh, yes. And we've got the UK. I love it when we get international up in here. So, and Seattle. Marvelous. Great to see you all. So, yeah, today David and I are going to be with you. Next week we will have James Andrews specializing in narration and commercials, so we can get back into more of the voice actor side as opposed to David as a producer and director and engineer. But we are here to answer everything and everything. So go ahead, and yes, my Maryland people, I'm originally from there, so I love to see it. So let's begin this. I will try to get to everybody's question. If I don't get to you, it's not that I don't love you. It's just that, I've got a room of, 70 people. So I'm doing my best. And I have you muted. If you are not muted, please mute yourself. If you don't do that, I will mute you. Again, it's not that I don't love you. We just have to keep some sense of control, of a happy, positive control in this space. So, so let's get into it. Let's dive right into any questions. And I'm going to start with Romy with the beautiful red curtain behind her in London. Romy is a beginner Hi. She's saying, I want to know what scripts should go into an e-learning demo, as most seem to include corporate training. David, can you talk to me a little bit about e-learning demos and what kinds of scripts we tend to do at Edge Studio?
Yeah, Romy, that's a great question. And what's really smart is to even have such a genre-specific demo because e-learning is one of the hottest genres in the voiceover industry. So I can't tell you exactly which scripts to use because I don't know your voice and your strengths and weaknesses and so on. But I'll give you a couple of bullet points that might help you select some scripts. So the first thing I would say is if you go to our practice script library on our website, you'll find lots of e-learning scripts and they're free, but do not use them on your demo. Does everyone hear that? Do not. Because those demos, rather those scripts are used by so many people out there. And I think that we are probably the only voiceover school that doesn't use them, even though we supply them all. They're there for practice. They're there to get ideas for an e-learning demo. So my first part B suggestion to you is to not use the scripts there, but get ideas from the scripts that are there. Go to the e-learning category in our script library and peek through the scripts and figure out which ones work for you and which feel right and take it from there. Also, study the e-learning world. Get examples of what's out there in the real world and select scripts which show off your voice. You can always have I'm not sure if you're training with Edge, if you're in the midst of recording a demo with us, but certainly any of our coaches will help you through that process, whether it's me or another coach, and select the right scripts for you. The scripts which are being sought after by casting teams right now. So, yeah, great question. And thanks for joining us from London or wherever you are. UK somewhere.
Um, I I know I'm getting some audio interference. I'm not seeing anybody having sound on. So let's just remember to keep ourselves muted, my friends, to make this a little bit, okay, I don't see anybody. So sorry, just trying to, how this is going. Cool, Romy, does that help? Does that get you at least a starting place? You can speak if you choose.
So
There you go.
yeah, so I just wanted to clarify. I've kind of heard quite a few corporate demos as well, and I seem to see a lot of or hear a lot of overlap between the e-learning kind of audio clips and the ones on the corporate. So that's where I just wanted to clarify: is there a fine line, or is it a grey kind of area where you can put some?
Yeah, the whole industry is gray.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, there are commercials which really belong on narration demos, and there are narrations which sometimes belong on commercial demos. I mean,
Right.
so many scripts can be in so many different categories. And so for that reason, there are certainly a lot of voice actors who have one recording that may be on multiple demos. Because you're right, Romy, an e-learning script could fall under education. It could also fall under corporate and so on. So use your judgment or, work with someone who can help you through that process. But it's a fantastic demo to have. What's interesting is if you take a corporate demo and just relabel it as an e-learning demo, to some degree, it's probably halfway there because it's so much gray area. So, yeah. It's
brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure.
Sorry, now I'm muting myself. I'm trying to yeah, okay. I'm sorry if anybody's hearing audio issues. I am trying to determine what's going on, but I'm also powering through. So Adriana, so David and we get these kinds of questions a lot, and I think David will just do our usual kind of blanket, not blanket response, but Adriana is asking about the Rode NT1A. And if it's a good mic to record from your home studio. And we have a sort of response to this kind of thing. And David, I'll just let you tackle that.
Yeah, maybe it really is a smart question. And even though this question comes up in every Ask Me Anything session, it's logical for people to ask this question. What I could do is actually write a response and just hold it up, because it's so bound to come up because it is such a good question. Listen, the Rode mic, it's a terrific microphone, but it may not work for your voice, or it may not work for the acoustics of your sound studio, of your recording area, and that it may not work for the types of scripts that you record. So you always have to purchase a microphone based upon your voice, like how it interacts, how it reacts, I guess I should say, with your voice, the types of voiceover scripts that you are recording, the acoustics of your studio, and so on. And those are the key factors. So I cannot say for sure that microphone is a good microphone for you. I can say it's a good microphone, but it may be horrible for what you're trying to do in the industry. So I would consult someone who knows, one of our engineers on staff or something like that. Now we can certainly help you through that, and listen to samples of your studio and listen to your voice and take it from there.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I am trying to, there's so much audio interference that's happening, and I am trying to find where that's coming from. Sorry, y'all, but if your
Siobhan, I'm
mic
not
is,
hearing it on my end at all. Perhaps other people are. Are you guys hearing audio interference?
yeah, and it's pretty intense.
I sure am.
I know, yeah, me too. Okay,
Is it coming from me? Because I don't hear it. It's weird.
that's wild.
Siobhan, is it a constant, like a constant sound or something?
Yeah, okay.
Let me just mute myself for a moment, for 3 seconds. Let's see if it goes away.
Yeah. It's David.
Cool. So let me
Do you
share a
have an
funny
eight?
story. The funny story is on this call today, someone here right in front of us emailed me earlier saying, David, you've had some audio issues, and you may want to look into it since you own the quietest studios in New York City. And I was thinking, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with my audio. So it's frankly unbelievably embarrassing, I must say. And I think that it's too far into the session to start readjusting whatever I have adjusted here. When Siobhan originally came to me with this idea of having an Ask Me Anything, I thought, what a cool idea. And we did the first one from our New York City studios, where the acoustics are fabulous. And then, of course, COVID hit, and so we're all working from home at Edge Studio right now. And so, and now my kids are doing remote learning because their school's not really opened right now. And so I'm tucked away in a corner somewhere. So I really apologize. And I treated my area as what I thought was really good.
David,
So,
do you have an AC? Do you have an AC on in that room? Is there like a loud, is it? No, right? You would know. I don't need to ask you these kinds of questions, but yeah, well, okay. So it's funny. Yeah, before the show, he's like, how does my audio? And I was like, I mean, it's roomy and echoey, but it's fine. But then it's funny now, it sounded like a car. Did anybody hear like a car? It sounded like a car was driving through the Zoom room, and I'm like,
like a whirring sound.
yeah. And I'm like scanning the squares.
Like a turntable going around as opposed to a fan, but I am hearing some rumble that sounds like AC.
Yes, same.
I think this will be a great thing for 2 weeks from now when David shows us how he makes a home studio.
Hey, listen, I'm back in the studio in New York City. I don't know if that would be the case or not. We're still trying to suss that out, but that would certainly be.
Oh my gosh.
So
oh
listen,
my gosh.
I'm
ask
really
me.
sorry, as long as you can hear my words, we should carry on. If you can't understand what I'm saying, then I need to do something like right now. But can you guys understand what I'm saying?
Can we we'll figure, apologies. I know we've had technical problems once before and you all were troopers. And so, let's deal, but for some reason, David, it's like weirdly interference-y today. And it's usually not.
It's like
right?
We can hear you. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, give me 20
Let's
seconds.
go.
I'm going to flick a switch. Hang on, one moment. Siobhan, why don't you,
David's gonna flip.
You're good at entertaining and ad-libbing. 15 seconds.
Do it. Yeah, so what do I want to talk about? I can look. Okay, we did e-learning. We talked about the home studio is not my specialty, which is why these kinds of problems really stress me out. And I'm like, oh no, audio. What do I do? So I can talk about this demo reel, which we just call just demos. Should I record everything I want? Oh, here we go, David.
Any better?
Yeah, it's a little better. It's a little better.
It's a move in the right direction. At least it's not worse. Okay, so let's carry on. And again, I apologize, everyone.
Hey, we're all, look, it's 2020. We're all just here being our, authentic selves in our authentic homes, not in the studio we spent half a lifetime building in Manhattan. Whoops. So here we go.
And I will say,
Um,
acoustically speaking, getting my two sons to not bicker while I'm on this call, that in of itself is a big challenge. So be happy that at least I got them to be quiet.
so glad I'm not a parent in these really tough times, I have to say. I mean, not glad, but woo, that seems like a lot. David, Mariska is asking about, uh, well, this is asking, I think she's talking about recording her own demo, but do I record everything I want on it in one take, or can I record each section separately? And I think we know you want to talk a little bit about recording a demo.
Yeah, sure. My first concern is the question you're asking is so basic in nature that I assume you're just really starting out in the industry. And if you are starting out in the industry, I don't think there's a chance that you by yourself can record a competitive and marketable demo. I can't imagine how that could be the case. Um, and, maybe you can, but I would not think so. There's so many things that go into recording a demo and making it sound competitive with people who've done this for many years or who have gone to producers who specialize in helping voice actors through demos. That said, to answer your question specifically, you can absolutely record each snippet of your demo as a separate recording. You don't need to record it all one shot straight through. In fact, I don't know anyone who would ever record everything because generally you're talking about different vocal styles. So you may want to stop between each recording. And then of course, each segment of your demo would be processed differently and music and sound effects added and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, record it in bits and pieces. I mean, if you are recording at home, you could record one a day, one segment a day, But if, like I said, if you're new, I would not consider marketing that demo, or at minimum, record your demo and then get someone who you trust to evaluate it, me or someone else, but have someone evaluate that demo before you go and spread your name out with that demo.
Okay. Fantastic. So I appreciate that, y'all. Hi, Terry is here from Charlotte. I love Charlotte. And Terry's asking if voice talent should all have Source Connect, or do you have a different recommendation, or what do we feel about Source Connect? My folks, if you want to drop in the chat whether you work with Source Connect a lot or not, maybe that would help Terry too. David, what's your feels on Source Connect?
Yeah, first, let me just define what Source Connect is, just in case someone doesn't know. Source Connect is an internet application that allows multiple computers to connect digitally, like the audio can be connected digitally. And what's cool about that is if you are recording in your sound booth at home, your client can actually record your audio on their end. So rather than you hitting record and then sending your client the file, you just talk into your microphone, and through this software, you're connected digitally to your client, and your client records your audio on their end, which is nice. So there's no uploading of audio, and more specifically, your client can hear the audio in pristine sound quality. So that's all cool stuff. And there are competitors to Source Connect. I'd say probably one of the biggest ones right now is IPDTL. There are some others. You may hear the word ISDN, or really that's an initialism, and that was sort of the same thing as Source Connect, this older technology. And you may have clients who request it, you may not. It depends on the type of clients you have and the type of work you do. That said, if you don't want to go and spend the money on it, at minimum, absolutely at minimum, and this is for every single person out there, you should study it big time. You should understand how Source Connect works and how IPDTL works, and know these things inside and out, even if you don't download them in your own system. Because if you ever get some great job from a client and they say, listen, we want to record via Source Connect or IPDTL, you want to be able to say, sure, I can offer that, because you've already done your homework and you know how it works, and you know where to go to pay for it and how to download it, and you've watched tutorials online. Be familiar. Be as familiar as you can without owning it. let me just ask, well, let me say one more thing. And that is, I guess whether or not you need to purchase it when you're brand new, maybe not. You know, it's nice to have, but you may never need it. So I think if I was in your shoes, I may not purchase it at this point until you get some experience under your belt. But like I said, just be familiar with it. Be ready to purchase it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for asking. Okay, so from LV, interested in e-learning with the federal government. I am currently with them for almost 20 years. I want to get SAM certified, SAM, and GSA certified. Is there a process for that we can explain? As employees, we do online courses all the time, and I never knew that I could do VO.
Yeah. So I just wanted to duck back to that previous question regarding Source Connect, because something else every voice actor should be familiar with is processing software like Isotope and things of that nature, Wave bundles and Wave plugins and stuff. You all should know everything that's available to you in terms of the editing world and the processing world and the recording world. So even if you don't have everything, be familiar with it. Now, to this new question. So yeah, the government puts out a ridiculous amount of voiceover. There is so much work within the government, and sometimes they actually pay quite well. For those of you who don't know, there are different qualifications that a service provider, like a voice actor or a studio, has to have on hand to be able to get work through the government. And as you mentioned, SAM is one of those. Being GSA certified, this process is something you have to go through, and it is a monstrous process. It's bureaucracy at its best or worst. I'm not sure how to define it, but it's a horrible process. Have any of you ever gone through trying to get a SAM number or GSA certified? Any thumbs up? Okay, well, very often when the government will say we have work, you need to be certified by the government or something, they're talking about having a SAM number, DUNS number, GSA, and so on. And so, like the previous question, I would be familiar with this because very often the government will not hire you unless you are certified. So be ready, watch some tutorials, understand the difference between a DUNS number and the SAM number and the GSA numbers and how they interact and which one you have to get first. And some are annual subscriptions, some you pay for, some you don't. And it is a very complicated process, and you do have to typically update it every year. Once you have it, you're open to a lot of work, which is terrific. And there are a lot of voice actors who specialize in work for the government because there's just so many departments and agencies and organizations that require voiceover. So yeah, it's a great thing to do. Very smart to ask that question. And the fact that you work there, that's great. You know, you should be able to get that work quite easily.
Thank you. And I had one more question. What scripts would you recommend, I guess, to be working on? Because I did pay for my demo with you, but I feel like I'm still not ready and I want to get prepared. I guess, what is your advice on that?
For an e-learning demo?
Yeah, I guess because that's what I'm going to need, right? In order to, you know, to.
Yeah, whoever you're coaching with can help you, absolutely can help you through that process. I mean, this is what we specialize in. At Edge, we have a very big casting and production department, and we have over the years recorded hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of projects for the government, all different agencies and departments. So we're very extremely familiar with the process and the type of work that is done. So yeah, I would sit down with your coach and go through that in detail. Let them understand. If your coach doesn't already know, make sure your coach knows that this is your goal. And this is why every demo is unique, right? We make every demo unique to the voice actor because everyone has different goals and different interests, and they're marketable in different areas, you know, different strengths and different, I don't know, focus points of their demo. So make sure your coach is up to date with your thoughts, and your coach will work with you.
Great, thank you, David.
Yeah, my pleasure.
David, so for Source Connect, just to jump on top of that, is the free, or do people want to put in the chat, because people are asking about if the free version of Source Connect is sufficient, do you or recommended to Terry? Anybody have thoughts or feelings about that? And oh, and also, yeah, Dina posted a really helpful link for the GSA vendor stuff, which is awesome. And Riley is also saying that they've done VO work for several years for the military without SAM certification. It's done through a third party who typically assembles the final product. Really interesting stuff. So yeah, so there's a lot going on here. David, do you have any thoughts on the free version of Source Connect?
I don't, only because we have the paid version here. So when I say here, I mean the actual studios, not in my acoustically yucky suboptimal corner of my basement. So yeah, we just have the regular version. So I'm not familiar enough with the free version to know if it's a complete version and just gives you perhaps a week to try it out or a month to try it out, or if it's limited in capacity. I don't know. If anyone knows, please post it. It'd be interesting for me and I'm sure everyone else to learn. And as far as the third party goes, certainly that's the case very often. You might come across a job through a third party and then they handle the paperwork and the legalities on their end, and that's terrific.
I'm also asking from Bob, is asking about political VOs, since we're on the government theme. Can one get gigs as late as October? Not that I could realistically do any, at least this season, but for further election years, like David, do you know anything about that market or how it rolls out? I mean, there's always kind of some election season happening, isn't there?
There is always stuff being recorded up until sometimes the last minute. And yeah, not to get into a political conversation, which I don't think would be good here, but certain parties, I mean, sometimes are just running behind, trying to catch up and changing their messaging as the elections become closer and closer. And as the messaging has to be changed, of course, the voiceover has to be changed typically. We were working on one campaign for Obama some years ago. The first time he ran, that would have been what, 2008? Or whatever it was. And we were doing some social media stuff, and there were some real last minute calls to update some of the social media messaging, crazy last minute stuff. But it was being done through social media, so we could have something recorded and send it to the our department head, whatever, and it was being blasted out there in social media, 30 seconds later. So things can move quickly, and things do move quickly sometimes. So, but you would probably want, I think you would need a political demo. You'd need to show examples of your work, and political voiceover demos are pretty popular, and they really sort of come out this time of year, or this time of, toward when we're in an election year.
Okay, Timothy is asking to be unmuted for a question because he's having trouble typing it up. So I'm gonna unmute you, Tim, and you can chime in. Hello.
Hi. Well, I actually am talking from my studio, unfortunately. My question pertains specifically to audiobook narrators, which is, I remember watching this in Mark Thompson's channel on YouTube about if you're doing voices for different characters, creating a reference file for each character. So when you go back to that character, you can think, what voice was he supposed to have? Oh yeah, this one, that's what it was. And, and so like, do you know any kind of software for mobile that would be useful for being able to create different files for each character voice?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, first of all, it's a great process to go through when recording an audiobook, right? Because of the multitude of characters, they do need to be consistent. And let me first say that I know some voice actors who will go through a book, whether it's a manuscript or a book that they receive, and record all of just one character at a time. They'll do all of the character John, and then they'll go back and record all of the character Jane and so on, and then edit that all together. The only downside to that is it takes you a lot longer as the narrator to get through the book, right? Because you have so much more editing, and sometimes when you put when you edit together multiple characters, you realize that the conversation doesn't flow, and then you have to go back and re-record one so it makes sense. So you're talking a 10-hour project, perhaps becomes 20 hours. And so it's great. It's really fabulous when you can do this proficiently and just do it one take all the way through. That said, with numerous characters, it's really tough to do that. So yeah, creating a reference file is a pretty common theme. But most voice actors I know just use markers in whatever system or software they're recording in. Can you use markers?
Oh no, I can use markers in my DAW, but what would be nice is to have outside the DAW in like a mobile sense, like having on my tablet, so I can just pull it up that way instead of having to to go to a different load a different file that I have on my DAW. I primarily use Pro Tools predominantly, but I thought that it would be just if there was like a mobile software for that, I thought that would be probably more expedient. In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure I understand what you mean by a mobile software. I mean, couldn't you
In other words, an app, like an app you can put on either your phone or your iPad or your tablet, so you can get to it quickly that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, like some software, some DAW software out there, like Twisted Wave and stuff, has great apps for your phone, and that might be helpful.
Okay.
Sure, or in Pro Tools, if you just take one of each character and drag it to a different file and just upload that file and just email it to yourself. I mean, as simple as that, and you can play it anytime you want. There may be software specifically for that purpose. I'm just not familiar with it. If anyone has ideas on that, post it in the chat box, and Siobhan, you can read that off for us, right?
Sorry, I'm muting to try to mitigate any kind of more audio scenarios. Thanks, everyone. I hope your brains are doing okay. Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot. The iPads have different voice note app. You can save the different voices in different notes. You could use a voice recorder app on your phone. Voice notes on iOS can be separated into each file. I don't know if Timothy, if you use any of those. Oh, Airtable. Dina, you're so smart. I'm trying to learn Airtable like this week. I need one of those things. I need to like learn how to, I get overwhelmed by all these different organizational tools, but
We should
does anybody
totally
else
talk.
Will you help me?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's a great tool. Love it.
Okay, that's fantastic because that's something I think that's going to help me in a lot of realms. But yes, what about Dropbox with character files? Yeah. Okay, these are all a lot of ideas, Timothy, but I kind of think Airtable as a CRM is a really good idea. And you can also work with people. You can bring people into your Airtable, right? And kind of show them stuff. So that's good. Do we feel like helpful at all, Timothy? Like you got a little bit of something?
Some good ideas. I
Okay.
definitely am going to look in each one of those and pick the one that works best.
And just for everybody, in case you don't know, if you click the kind of ellipses at the bottom, if you're on a desktop, which is the only way I use Zoom, at the bottom right-hand corner, underneath of the chat is a little ellipses. If you click that, you can save the chat. So anybody's comments or questions or ideas you can reference later, and you don't have to, in a panic, write them down. You can also take a screenshot of the chat, or whatever, do what you want. But you can, I recommend either of those tools to assist you moving forward post this session. So also Joe is making me laugh about H.G. Wells and the sound in our Zoom room today. Cool. So moving on to demo stuff from Tony, who may be gone from the Zoom room. Okay, if I've lost Tony, I'm gonna maybe just move forward. Okay, so we got Timothy. Romy, vocal styles. Okay, given that an e-learning demo has varying vocal styles, are there other given that it's a formal friendly genre, are there other variations that one should try to do for a demo? How many scripts should be included in a demo? What do you think, David?
Well, first, I would say that an e-learning demo is not necessarily friendly casual. Every genre out there has a range. So we were talking about some government work earlier, and we've had some projects come in where the government wants something that is virtually robotic in nature, right? Whether it's being played internationally, so the articulation has to be up to a whole bunch of notches, whether it's for some big corporate think tank and they want just a factual sounding delivery. Sometimes it's a walk around, like a self-guided tour of a visitor center, and they want it casually and friendly. There is a gigantic range. I would never, ever associate a type of vocal delivery with the genre in this industry. Never, ever do that. I call it going on autopilot. And I will sidestep for just a second. I have found over the years that if I hire a voice actor and I say something, a script is for kids, virtually every voice actor's immediate thought is, oh, it's for kids. It should be upbeat and sing-songy and so on. But maybe it's not supposed to be that way. Maybe it's for, when I say kids, maybe I mean college-age kids as a documentary. Maybe it's the self-guided tour of a very serious exhibit in a museum for the college-age students. I mean, there are times and places for everything in this industry. So don't go on this autopilot and assume that a category or genre like e-learning is always to be delivered one way. Next thing is there are a lot of voice actors who have virtually no variety. They're one-trick ponies. They do one thing and they do that one thing really well. And I've often used documentary narrators as an example of that, because some of the best documentary narrators out there, when you listen to their demos, and we hire them, when listening to their demos, virtually every genre, or every segment on their demo sounds virtually identical. Whether they're recording a documentary for the Weather Channel, one's for the Sci-Fi Channel, one's for National Geographic, one's for Discovery, but if you sort of tune out the music and the sound effects and just listen to the voice, it's the same thing from segment to segment. They do one thing and they do it really well. And sometimes they may have other demos where they show other styles. So just because you're recording an e-learning demo doesn't mean that you have to have great variety on the demo. Now, if you have lots of variety, then certainly show that variety. But sometimes too much variety on a demo is, I would say, suboptimal, because it makes it very hard for a casting agent to say, what do you sound like? Like you're a jack of all trades. So it's hard to categorize you. It's really easy for us on our end of the business. It's easy for us to categorize you and know when to hire you if we know how to define you. And it's even more helpful if you help to brand yourself in that fashion. So that's a bunch of disparate information. I hope that all helps you. If it doesn't, let me know.
I want to move to Todd, who is very sweet and saying that he loves our AMA sessions. We love you too, Todd. And this is really sweet. I've been oh so slowly working on my demo with the fine folks at Edge, and I've one final coaching session before recording my demo. I'm wondering if I should just hit pause until we get back to in-person sessions for the final record. Todd is still practicing and posting to the forum in the meantime. Of course, like a good diligent student, we love to see it. I know the answer to this question, but David, let's hear it.
Now, I'm really curious what your answer was. I would say there's no reason to pause. Number one, if that's your answer, cool. Number one, we don't know how long this is going to go on. So why put your career on hold? Secondly, when you get work out there, you're going to be recording it from your home studio. So get used to recording in your home studio. It's totally fine. Third thing is, we will not let you record from your home studio unless your sound acoustics are professional sounding. So if you decide to record from your home studio, if you record your demo from your home studio and we patch in by Zoom or Skype or whatever, we will first, a week before, 2 weeks before, we will do an audio test with you and make sure that the sound quality of your recording space is truly professional. It shouldn't sound like the room that I'm in right now. Fourth thing, when you record a demo with us remotely from your own studio, we will send you a link, an IPDTL software link. And you click on that link and we actually record the audio on our end. So it's your microphone, it's the sound of your studio, but we actually do the recording on our end. So we're monitoring it and we're doing the editing for you. So we just don't want you to have the pressure of worrying about the recording during your demo session. You should focus on your performance only. So yeah, don't pause it. Move ahead, get out there, get work. Busy season's coming. Summers tend to be a bit slower in the voiceover industry, and get your demo out there as soon as you can. Start marketing it. As long as you're ready to record professional. But if you're ready to do this, then yeah, you should move forward.
Yeah, I was going to say that hitting pause, we don't know how long that's going to go, and if you're ready, and doing well, then like let's make it happen. I know in person is so fun and we love hugs, but like let's we don't know when hugs are happening. So that's hard, but it's true. If David were like, hey Edge, I want to record from this basement right now, we would be like, that today is not going to work. But we will help you with that. So David Orange is just starting out and working through his first coaching session for narration. I will go to Edge to produce the demo whenever recording time happens, then post and promote myself with that demo. What happens when I get a job based on that demo and I can't replicate the studio version in my home studio?
That
So
is
getting my
another.
home studio, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's essentially so basically the thesis of the question is getting my home studio in perfect shape just as important as getting my demo out there, or what am I doing here?
Yeah, you have to, when you have your demo and you market your demo, you need to be prepared to work, because you'll market that demo, and if you get a job, you have to be ready to record. So while you are recording your demo, you should also simultaneously be putting together your recording studio, and we can help you through that process. I mean, that's part of the whole training program, is helping you through that process. It is critical. So yeah, that's a terrific question, and absolutely be ready. Have your studio completely ready. And in terms of replicating the same sound, recording your demo from your home studio is just another reason why I think it's very smart to record from your home studio. Again, we'll actually do the physical recording on our end, just so you focus on your performance only, but it's still the acoustics of your room. It's your microphone, it's your sound area. It's you standing at your microphone in your room. So the sound will be replicated when you get a job, completely replicated, accurately replicated. You never want to misrepresent yourself on a demo. That's not good. So yeah, what you're doing is great.
Okay, there's a question about recording software. So we have a sort of general response about DAWs. If people want to post in the chat what DAW they're using and why they like it. David, do you want to give an overall DAW statement to the Zoom room?
30 seconds, yeah. So DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. It's the software that you use to record and edit your voiceover jobs. And there are lots out there. Try the free trials, ask around, and figure out which one works best for you. They range from free to rather expensive. The Pro Tool software is rather expensive, but it's much more than you ever would need. You'd be fine with any of the free ones, or the DAWs, which cost $50 or $100. And so yeah, ask around. But like I said, try them out. One will just make logical sense to you. It will feel right to you, and that's the one you should go with. They all do the same thing. They all sound the same. It's all digital, so any of them are fine. As long as you get something that's well known, that's popular, then you can find tutorials on it and get help groups, and you'll be totally good.
Okay, David, there's a question about narration or books. I think this Tony, we've got a lot of Tonys in the house today. This Tony is asking about audiobook demos. I think that's what this question is. What kind of material should be on one, and do they have music? We should definitely bring Johnny back for another audiobook focused AMA, but I know a little bit. David, do you want to tackle this audiobook demo question? You could probably answer what the material. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So more than any other genre, audiobook demos are all over the place. It's unbelievable, because casting teams, in other words, those hiring audiobook narrators, tend to want such very different types of demos. There are audiobook publishing companies looking to hire audiobook narrators who want a demo with 30-second clips, and then there are some who want 5 or 10-minute clips. So you think to yourself, well, how can you make a demo that like 30-second clips, but also works for the potential client who wants 10-minute long clips? So what has pretty much become standard at this point is to have various length snippets or samples on your audiobook demo. So on average, and this is just an average, you'll probably have 5 or 6 snippets from different books. and at least one of those should have dialogue, preferably between a man and a woman. One should be fiction, one should be nonfiction. And when you get into the fiction, you probably want one to be more comedic and one to be sci-fi. Maybe one is romance, one is kids, so on. One snippet should be a 30-second or a 1-minute long snippet, whereas another snippet should be 5 or 10 minutes long. And by the way, let me go back and say that the reason why some casting folks want such a long snippet, like a 5 or 10-minute snippet, is because they want to hear character development and consistency and your stamina and how well you maintain listener engagement. And then, of course, there are those potential clients who they don't have time for it. They just want to hear a 30-second snippet and say, good, I like his or her voice, and just move on. So you show a variety of different lengths and styles, and that's typically what a book is. So they are, the audiobook demos are challenging to that point. And to your last question, whether or not they have music, they may. If you're recording an audiobook that typically would have music, well, then the snippet should have music on it. That's normally not the case, but there are some kids' books with music or sound effects, and occasionally you'll come across an audiobook, an adult audiobook that has music in the background. It's pretty rare, but it happens occasionally. And if you record a snippet from that type of book, then they can sound realistic by adding music.
I like this question from Laid Back. If I enjoy doing animation and video games, how important is it to live in LA or New York?
It can be important for if you want to narrate the big film productions, if you want to be one of the main narrators on a major cartoon or in a Disney or Pixar film, then it's helpful to be out there. But the vast majority of character work and animation work and video game work and talking toys, I'm truly making up a number here, but probably 90% of that work, 95% of that work is done from voice actor home studios. So you can live in the middle of the Corn Belt in the US and be totally fine and get enough work. You may not land the job being the star in the Pixar, that's funny, that's Disney and Pixar combined. You won't be the star in one of these movies perhaps, but otherwise there's a lot of work available to you, a whole lot of work.
Okay, Cecilia is saying that she has an agent. I get calls from my agent to record voiceover. I think you're saying audition. It says audits, but do you mean auditions? And haven't booked. I've been put on hold from audits in studios, but not at all from home using my phone. I know equipment is huge, but I'm very concerned about getting my vocal quality. Okay, Cecilia, I'm not sure I understand your question, and I'm looking for you. Let me see if I can find.
Let me talk about that as best as I can understand it. So if you're getting auditions from your agent but not booking them, then you have, I think, okay, then you have two options, I think. One is to be frank with your agent, comfortably frank, and say, look, I really enjoy working with you, and I'm thrilled that you send me auditions, and it's cool, and appreciate it, and thank you. But I'm not booking, and I want to make sure that you look good. I don't want to bring down your agency. And do you want to throw me some tips? Have you listened to any of my auditions? And if so, would you like to comment on my performance? Because certainly I want to continue being repped by you, and I want you to look good for your clients. And so is it the audio quality of my auditions or my performance or both? So you should work with your agent. You always work together with your agent. It's a team. You two are a team. The other thing is, I hate to say this and sound salesy, but book a session with me and let me take a listen to some of them. Because 9 out of 10 times, probably 99 out of 100 times, if you send me some of your more recent auditions and the scripts and the directions that you're given, when I say the directions, I mean the client says they want it to be fast or slow, happy or sad and whatnot, I will listen to it, and within 1 second of your audition, I'll say, of course, they wouldn't listen past the first second, and I can lay out 20 reasons why, and we can work on that stuff. And if you're going to really devote time to voiceover and try to build up your career, I would do at least 1 session with me, just focusing on auditions.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thanks for helping me clarify. So I've got Devin asking about what a good source is to find agents, or how you go about getting an agent, if you want to do a little bit of a crash course
You ever
answer of
get
that question.
scared? You ever get
You're, say that again?
spooked out? And then there's cornbread casserole that's a little bit.
I think that's an accident. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I thought that
Go
that
ahead,
was
David.
asking more questions. Yeah, agents, I mean, there are lists of agents. If you just go to Google and type agent or voice over agent directory, something of the sort, I mean, you're going to get lists of agents. The more important thing is knowing how to contact them and which ones to connect or attempt to connect with. The biggest mistake that I have found that voice actors make when trying to connect with an agent is that they try to sell themselves to the agent. It's very common for voice actors to say, okay, here's a list of 300 agents I found, and let me make a template letter that sort of works for all of them. And the letter says, hi, I am a voice actor. I do commercials. I'm attaching my demo. I hope you like it. I hope to hear from you soon. And they blanket 50 or 100 or 300 agents in one fell swoop. And you probably won't get too much response, because as what came up in the previous question about agents is that this has to be looked at as a partnership. Your agent or your potential agent needs voice actors to satisfy their clients. So they need you and you need them to get the work. It's a partnership. And so you should never contact an agent saying, hi, I am a voice actor, I do commercials. Rather, you should say, hey, your agency looks amazing. You have a great roster, you've done some terrific work, and compliment them. And then say, I feel like my voice would fit in very well with your agency. Let's pick a time and toss around some ideas. Let's chat about it. Let's explore if this would be a good relationship for both of us to have. Let's look into it. Let's hear some times that I'm available for a quick phone call. And always take the approach of being a team with your agent. That is such a more helpful way to go. And the same thing works in our casting department too, because we receive so many demos every day. It's unbelievable. We can't listen to everyone, but occasionally someone wants to explore with us, and they said, "Look, we're here to help you, and you're here to, and let's make this a partnership. Let's figure out if it makes sense." And we're much more open to an email like that, an introduction like that. So I hope I answered your question. Where to find agents? Just do a directory, ask around. There are lots of agents out there. How to connect with them. Did I miss? I feel like I may have missed something. If I did, please let Siobhan know.
No, I think this is awesome, David. I'm going to take another one really quickly about Joel talking about in regards to his remote audio via Source Connect. Is there a way to harvest the contact info or email addresses from everyone involved in this session, Joel? Oh, are you talking, Joel, I don't know, if you're talking about AMA, are you talking about right now? I'm looking at you, yes? Or are you talking about during your recording? Here, I'll unmute you. Hi, Joel. I'm asking too. You gotta click, yeah.
There we go.
Hello. Hi, can you clarify your question for me?
Yeah, I had a two-part question. One earlier that I put in about people's experience with Source Connect, with ISDN kind of going the way of the dinosaur. But then it occurred to me there's clearly so many talents here that I often might need for the production of things that I'm doing. And I was just wondering, for the reason of using Source Connect and remote audio, is there a way to harvest the contact info of everybody involved in these sessions so that you can say hi and part of the community kind of thing, not from the sense of competition, but of saying, oh, really, you do that? Well, I have a need for that, and so forth. Didn't know if that'd be helpful.
No, absolutely. And also people are saying that you have a baller room. Like we like your space.
And the reel in the background. I mean,
yeah, the reel to reel is
that's just the goofy stuff. The real studio's in front of me. But thank you.
But people love it. So the first thing I'll say, Joel, is, and actually we can go ahead and start doing this since we have 5 minutes left. I always have people drop in their social media handles, and then on Edge's socials, I do Follow Friday, where I tag everybody and make sure that everybody can follow each other, and I follow y'all from Edge Studios account. So you can definitely, people can start doing that. People can also drop their websites or email addresses. And then what I would recommend, Joel, is to save the chat, only because I don't want to post people's email addresses on social media. It feels like a violation of y'all's personal privacy, but I can post your handles, but yeah, so Tony is TonyWeiner.com. So yeah, so go ahead and you can start doing that, my people, and tell me your Twitter and Instagram. That's the ones that I'll be posting on our socials so we can stay in touch. Yeah, websites, emails, we love it. We love it. Great, great, great. This is all really good. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, yeah, thank
Sorry,
you.
just before we go on, so Joel, I commented on the real thrill in your background, and if you guys look at Randy Wrench, he's using his full name, Randall Wrench. There's a reel in the background of his studio too.
I know, I feel left out, kind of like I don't have a reel-to-reel in any space that I occupy currently, but it looks good, you guys. I like looking at everyone's lives.
Actually, that's my living room. I'm in my studio, but that is my living room.
Okay, so I think that we are about, I'm checking to see if yeah, wowzers, I love this. Yeah, so David, one last question in our 4 minutes. If you can answer this in 2 minutes so that I can wrap up in the next 2 minutes. How long would you say, and people can drop in the chat, how long does it take on average for someone who's starting off to successfully transition to a full-time career in voiceover? What do you have to say about that for us, David? And that'll be our last question for the day.
Anywhere from 1 to 100, 0 to 100. I mean, it's like anything, guys. There are people who get lucky right out of the gate, and there are people who just are unlucky, and there are people who pick up techniques faster than other people. I've worked with newcomers who show so much promise, and they get to a point in their training, and they become stagnant. They just can't go that last step, and they make it. Maybe they reach part-time work, but never full-time, which was their goal. And I've worked with people who sort of are in the opposite, whereas they have sort of limited potential in the beginning, but are dedicated, and it clicks in their head, and next thing you know, they're going full-time. It depends on so many factors. It depends on how good you are at marketing, how well you put together your home studio. It's like anything out there. There's no one answer, so I can't tell you how long it will take. Whether it takes you a month, 4 months, maybe you never successful. Maybe you're very successful. I will say though, at least going for it is sort of fun, because the whole process of recording and putting together a demo is really cool, and it's very educational. Just from the outset, it's a great process, and if you make money off of it, even better.
Okay, yeah, I can say that from working in the education department, we've had students who, look, a lucky break is, we use that phrase exists for a reason, because sometimes you break in out of, not because you have more talent or this person has more talent than another person who's also, spinning the wheels, but sometimes there is a lucky break that makes the transition really easy. Sometimes it's super slow. I think spinning the wheels is the main thing that we talk to our students about, is like, just keep turning in your auditions and keep coming to things like this that and all kinds of voiceover studios are offering places to connect. And we used to, have our super fun mixers that we hope to have again someday in the studio, but continuing to join the Facebook groups and just being part of the community and spinning those wheels. It could be, as David said, anywhere on the spectrum of a timeline.
And not becoming discouraged either, because guys, you see some of the most famous celebrities interviewed sometimes, whether it's a rock star or an actor, and sometimes they say it took me 10 years to get off the ground, and now they're, world renowned. So you just have to, don't become discouraged, stay optimistic, and as Siobhan nicely put it, just stay in the community, keep doing sessions like this, keep training. It can happen. The work is out there.
So again, it's our pleasure to be with you all. This hour flew by today. Sincere apologies for hearing boats or trains or whatever kinds of wild audio we've had in David's exciting apartment, or home, actually, basement. I'm in an apartment. Okay, so what I am doing here is I'm dropping a little linky link of a training coupon we are offering for you all joining us This is $25 off. Use the code AMA and you can coach with any of our coaches at Edge for 25 bucks off. That includes David if you want to work specifically with David, but we have coaches in every genre that you could possibly be working on, and home studio, right? So if you want to talk to somebody about Source Connect, about your home studio, please use that code and click that link and work with us, should you choose. Yes, continue to put your socials in the chat, and I will post everybody's links tomorrow. I am recording this session, as you can see. It will be posted on YouTube this weekend. And then so people are talking about saving the chat. Again, if you're on a desktop, the chat is in your right-hand column. At the bottom of that column, you will see a little square that has an ellipses in it. Click that ellipses and you can save the chat. It's your first option. So that is how I suggest you do that. In 2 weeks' time, which I believe is the 24th, yeah, we'll be back doing this again on the 24th with James Andrews, a delightful Canadian man who trains in narration, who coaches in narration and commercial with us. He's a total pleasure and an absolute ham. So if you haven't met him and want to hang out with us, or if you're Canadian, he'll be our first international guest on AMA, actually, now that I think about it. So we can tap into some international stuff. And it's just a pleasure. He's a delight. So we would love to see you then. If I didn't get to your question today, please don't take it personally. I do love you. You can write to us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. That's me. I'm the person behind those things. So if you hit us up via those DMs, you will be DMing me. You can also email training@edgestudio.com. And that's going to be a lot of your education references. But I'm also very happy to take care of you and talk to you, as I'm quite experienced in our education department. Oh yes, and David is working with, David Orange is working with James, and he said he's an awesome dude, because he's totally awesome. Thank you all. I hope this was helpful. We will post this recording. We will see you again. Our doors are currently not open still. We are sad about that, just as you are. But we hope that these sessions are a positive offering to let you know that we still care and that we miss you. And yeah, thank you for your time, David. It's great to see you. I appreciate you. And
thank you so much for hosting. Thank you everyone else for being on and being dedicated to this. That's awesome. You guys rock. I wish you a great 2 weeks.
We totally appreciate you. And I am saving this chat, and just as I suggest you all do. And I will see you on social media or in the emails. And thank you. And big virtual hugs to you all. Bye. Bye, Rita. Bye, everybody. Bye, Morris. You guys are great. Oh, you're so cute. Bye. Bye, Tony. Miss you. Bye, everyone.